Ah, the French champagne.
I'm going to end the round, and we're going to move into our second round here, which is looks good.
Oh, God.
And I mean, the answer is yes. I mean,
I thought
That's-
I thought Rain Man had some beautiful shots in it. I mean, it was,
yeah.
like the
Rain Man's-
cinematography wasn't
Yeah.
mind blowing, but it was clearly a high budget Hollywood film with a DP who knew what he was doing, and I thought it looked great. I mean, compared to Tiptoes, that was fucking Lawrence of Arabia, or what I assume it is, having never seen the movie. But
What? How do you mean? I'm sorry, I don't follow.
I don't know, because I've heard that Lawrence of Arabia is just like beautifully shot. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't-
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have no real point of reference, but
Okay.
I was cringing, absolutely cringing at some of the fucking camera work that was happening in Tiptoes.
Yeah. The close up on like her mouth when she's in bed making a call that one time.
Oh my
What
God,
the
yeah.
fuck was that?
She's like,
Just
hey,
her lips.
I was just thinking of you.
Well, it was like for one
now.
scene, they were trying to paint her as a psychopath. That's what I felt like. I felt like they were trying to say that she had like,
Oh.
like a flip had switched, or a switch had flipped.
Flip had switched.
A flip had switched. But you know what I mean? Like something had flipped inside of her after finding out this like secret about him, and suddenly she's like lost it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
So,
saying?
Your brother showed up today. Isn't that interesting? Like on this like this weird filming. Where
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the
Real
filming of
close on
him
the
is just
lips.
like a guy being like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like,
But he's up close too. It's like always like a 3/4 face shot. for
No,
him.
no, man.
Isn't it?
That
No, it's
no,
like
no,
hips
that
up.
Oh.
no, dude. That was almost his entire, because he was sitting on the curb. It was night. It was nighttime. He's
Oh,
on the
was
phone,
it?
and it's
Yeah.
almost his entire body in shot.
Right. That's just before the mystery blonde is asked
Just
to go
before
to
the
party.
mystery
Right.
blonde.
yes,
Exactly.
that's right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he invited me to go to a party, and I thought we could go.
Yeah.
But then there's
Oh.
shots like there's like a group shot. I think it's the one where you find out that Gary Oldman's a writer, where they're like cutting to close-ups of each person, and every time they cut, the camera is like very shakily pushing in on the person, and then like they cut back to that person, and the camera's like reset and is pushing in again. But it's also like pushing in from below them for some reason. Like the camera movement makes no sense in this fucking
I think
movie.
it's to instill to reinforce the height difference between the people. They can shoot from below and really make it seem like she's
They're
she's
sitting
way taller.
down.
So his legs are stuffed in the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, his legs just stick out of the couch. So there's similar stuff I feel like in that big party scene that's out of place altogether in this movie.
Yeah.
Similar shots inside kitchens and stuff that feel very like indie, like lots of
Yeah.
not even indie. It just feels like a grad film. Like it feels like
Yeah.
a student film a bunch.
Fucking totally.
Especially like stuff like this, that party scene, the scene I mentioned where he's confronting his lover's Palestinian lover scene. Like the whole thing reads like a student film. There's like bad stage combat where he's like punching the floor next to Gary Oldman's head, and
Yeah.
the acting is weird, and
There's
the
a couple
filming is
there's a
weird.
couple moments of combat in this film where like there's that, which is literally just like he grabs him, throws him to the ground, and then like punches the floor, and then she gets on top and just kind of like flaps at him a bit.
Yeah. Then she hits him with a boom box.
Yes, and then Patricia Arquette, after telling Peter Dinklage not to go shoot the man, and like the vibe I got was don't be violent. She leaps from the room and assaults the hotel manager, and like you see it through a crack, her beating the shit out of him, but it is again like punches thrown around the side of the head to the floor. And
Yeah. Yeah. Also, what the fuck with that gun? Where did that come from?
he's a bad boy.
That must have been part of the movie. And he says, if you want change in the world, it's going to be down the barrel of a gun. So I'm like, oh, he's going to shoot someone. And then that must have been cut too.
Right. Yeah. His whole. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God, this movie looked like shit.
Does anyone know what the budget of this movie was?
I will look it up right here. Production. There are no notes there.
Oh, you don't have to like walk us through looking it up. We can also talk.
No, you talk. And
Yeah,
I was enjoying the play-by-play actually.
There's I'll
I'm
just tab
typing
over.
into the taskbar,
I'm typing.
clicking on the link.
I'm typing.
But like I have to assume that there was some money behind this movie to get the likes of Gary Oldman and Matthew McConaughey, because Matthew McConaughey was like at the first kind of peak of his career in 2003-ish, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But at the same time, they're also paying Kate Beckinsale at scale. Kate Beckinsale. So
Beckinsale.
So
Kate's Beckinsale.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know where the money would have went if they're paying their actors at scale, and like there is nothing good about this movie from production value standpoint.
Yeah. Well, as you said, I will admit, as much as you never really believe it, because it's like, oh, look at that's Gary Oldman. They do. My eye was tricked most of the time that I didn't see anything like blatant. Like I recognized fake legs sticking out of a couch seat and the CGI moment that Sean mentioned. That I'm like, okay, but overall, it's pretty well achieved. Like I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
But most of the time, they're shooting him from like the waist up, so he's just walking on his knees, right? So they're just framing it out. They're not dumping money into special effects.
But if it does the trick, it kind of does the trick. But
sure, but I'm talking about money. How much money? How much money did they spend on this movie? Is what I want to know.
I cannot find it.
And well, then I guess my next question is, because clearly someone is trying to keep those numbers a secret. How the fuck do you convince all these actors to be in this film? I mean, obviously Kate Beckinsale, we know, had luck on her side.
Oscar bait.
Yeah, because movies like Rain Man had come out.
Oscar
I
bait.
guess
That's
I
it.
guess so.
These actors were all swinging for the fence. McConaughey's
like,
done his
don't-
rom-coms, and he was like, "It's time for me to get my Oscar."
This is
and he
still
got
how
one.
it happens.
But
Like, don't you read the script? Don't you read the dialogue that these characters are speaking and realize that this is going to be an abortion of a film?
sometimes bad movies, sometimes bad scripts turn out to be good movies. Like there is something that is gained in the production process, obviously, and it's still a worthwhile endeavor. So maybe they rolled the dice.
And I also think that there was
guess.
stuff happening again because people saw it as potential Oscar bait or as like something that for people like Matthew McConaughey and Kate Beckinsale who are trying to go more legit in their work is going to push them, and they see it being, is it going to be the best movie ever? Maybe not, but it's going to help move them towards where they want it to go professionally.
Right.
Is my guess. Because again, because of stuff like every once in a while, because maybe it's going to be bad, but maybe it's going to be Rain Man. Is I think what they're thinking.
Yep. Because they don't know, like literally the execs have never had to talk with someone that doesn't look exactly like they do. They had never had to do that for a decade before the movie was made. So they probably were just like, a movie about people I don't recognize, and let's take the chance.
Yeah, how are you going to criticize the story when it's a story you don't know at all? So it's like, yeah, if this is what their world is like, according to the script, then great, script seems good.
Let's do it.
You know?
And it really seems like, at least the Wikipedia page makes it seem like the troubles between the director and the producer started with Kate's hat, and how the director would not make her take it off, and the producers wanted her to take it off. And
it's the silliest part of the whole movie somehow. That fucking hat is ridiculous. You can't get back from the hat, but it's part of looks. It's
part of
ridiculous.
looks.
It's
I thought it was the
ridiculous
best part of the
looking hat.
film.
It made me laugh a lot. I'll give it that much. It's just so funny that she's like, it's her going in for her first serious conversation in the movie. So yeah, I mean, it's cut weird. Like not to, at the end of the movie, it really starts cutting weird. We have to reiterate that, like
A lot of blackouts.
how it's edited, and like there's these fade to blacks and stuff like that. And as we keep just like jumping these like time jumps, maybe, and people are just now at a cabin, and Dinklage and Arquette are there, and then this and then that, and then he shows up, and then there's like a prop baby. This is like a really obvious fake doll that she breastfeeds. That you're like, stop doing that, and it gets exceptionally
was
bad
awful.
at the end.
The
I
last.
kind of-
No, go ahead. You go first.
You go.
No, you go.
No, you hang out.
Okay. The last scene they have in the bed. It's an over the shoulder shot.
So many
of
bed
Kate.
scenes.
Yeah, over the shoulder shot of Kate, perfectly in focused. She's still mumbling, so I have no idea what she's saying. Perfectly in focus, and then over the shoulder shot of Matthew, just blurry as shit.
Yeah. And they clearly only did one take of that scene because every time they cut back to him, he's out of focus. Every single time.
I kept waiting for it to be resolved, but nope.
Nope. It's like it's on parallel with like The Room, honestly.
That's what I kept thinking. I honestly thought about that so many times while I was watching this movie. There are so many parts that feel like it was made by someone who has never made a movie before.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
But without the weird kind of quirky charm of The Room. Because there's something like The Room is so it's such a car crash.
Yeah.
And so absurd that it's watchable.
And they're all unknowns. So you're like, you didn't know.
Right. Yes,
But
exactly.
And also it's also this wonderful place where the lesser known and the indie can like do a thing and it can be so bad that they get some fame out of it. And it's like they get to, that's for them. That's not for Gary Oldman and Matthew McConaughey and Kate Beckinsale. That's not for you.
Right.
That's for the little guys out there that accidentally fuck up so bad that it becomes genius. That's for them. If you fuck up so bad, we'll laugh at you. And also we resent you for doing this. The Citizen Kane of the week is